week on the Chef's Line, the professionals from Perth restaurant El Publico are up against 4 home cooks who think they've got what it takes to beat the chefs at their own game.
I'm pretty confident. I think I can win.
The home cooks will showcase their best take on Mexican cuisine as they battle against El Publico's chain of command, starting with the apprentice chef right up to the head chef.
I'm a competitive guy. If you don't challenge yourself, then why are you in the game? What's the point?
It's the ultimate food fight to discover if delicious home-cooked meals
Wow, this is next level.
can beat the refinement of a restaurant dish.
They nail that flavour combination. It's just really, really nice.
Judged by executive chef Dan Hong, renowned chef Mark Olive, and food writer Melissa Leong.
So let's cook.
Which home cook has what it takes to make it to the end of the Chef's Line? The week gets started with 4 talented home cooks who specialise in Mexican cuisine. 38-year-old carpenter from Sydney, David.
Welcome to Davo's Fiesta.
I think Mexican food was the first sort of cuisine that was far from anything that I'd tasted before, and it just really stuck with me.
Business services consultant and mother from Perth, Jo.
My passion for Mexican cooking comes from my partner Mark, and his family is Latin American, so that's where my love of it comes from.
A 33-year-old originally from Mexico City, Flor.
I love Mexican cooking because I think every family put their secret ingredient.
And Californian mother of 1, Becky.
Oh, good chopping.
I was born and raised in Northern California. There is a huge Hispanic community there and tons of amazing Mexican food.
Good evening and welcome to the Chef's Line.
Who thinks they can outcook a chef from a restaurant here?
Flor, how did you learn to cook?
I learned how to cook since I was a child. My mom and my grandma taught me.
Your cooking is about to face a test. This week, you'll be cooking against the Chef's Line from Mexican restaurant El Publico.
El Publico is known for being a fashionable and unique Mexican restaurant.
We need to get that pork ready for the next leg to go in as well.
Yes, chef.
The team is led by the talented head chef, Tommy Payne.
Here at El Publico, we try and do a traditional style of Mexican cuisine with a modern twist. This is El Publico's carne pache with papitas.
Mine is fresh, sexy, smoky.
I love Mexican food because of the chili, the lime, the freshness, the complexity of the dishes. It really is one of the world's great cuisines.
Regarded as one of Perth's coolest and most respected restaurants, their Chef's Line will be tough to beat.
Welcome El Publico and welcome head chef Tommy to you and your Chef's Line.
Thanks, Dan.
Tommy, can you please introduce your Chef's Line?
Sure. Aaron, junior chef. Chris, station chef. Gianni, sous chef. Myself, Tommy Payne, head chef.
So first to cook this week is junior chef Aaron. Aaron, please step up. You are first to face the 4 home cooks.
Aaron, how are you feeling?
Pretty nervous.
What do you think of your competition?
I haven't met him. Hi.
Hey.
That looked pretty cool.
And now, to find out what dish you'll be cooking tonight, we want to see your best tacos.
Yes, really awesome.
Tacos are one of the best-known street foods in the world. An absolute staple in Mexico, they're a blend of protein, salad and salsa, wrapped up in a tortilla flatbread.
So picking the best plate will be one of us. Tonight, our blind tasting judge is Mark.
Tacos. Bring on the tasty tacos.
Mark will taste and judge the tacos, not knowing whether they're served by a home cook or the restaurant.
You all have 2 hours to get your plates on the pass, so let's cook.
Let's go, Aaron.
I'm doing tri-tip tacos. It'll be tri-tip beef. I've got a dry rub going on here with an assortment of spices.
I coat the beef in that and then I sear it in a really hot pan on the stovetop. and then I slide it into the oven to cook until I think the beef is ready. The beef tonight has to be medium rare, if not a little bit more rare than medium. To go with the try theme, I'm doing 3 types of salsa.
What are the 3 different salsas?
The first salsa is just your standard pico de gallo.
Yep.
The second one is a hot sauce I make at home, which is a pineapple and habanero. And then the third one will be my version of a chocolate mole.
Oh, so how many ingredients are in this mole?
There's carrot, give it nice rich flavour, so you roast that down a little bit in the pan. Onion, there's the tomato pulp, and then I just use a cocoa powder instead of a Mexican chocolate.
Okay.
And then almond meal.
What are you worried about here?
Time.
Time? Well, look, I'm going to leave you to it.
Wish me luck, Dan.
Joe, what version of tacos are you making tonight?
I'm doing a pulled beef with the flavours of lime, chipotle and honey. There's nothing shy about these flavours, but of course they need to be balanced.
So you go to brown beef, pop it in the
Pressure cooker with a little bit of nice stock and my chipotle.
What salsa's in?
My salsa is using avocado and mango. It's a bit of an explosion in your mouth.
Okay, there are lots of sort of sweet and acidic elements in this. Are you worried about getting the balance of flavour right and not overpowering it with sweetness?
Yes, getting the balance right is so important. But when I get it right, it's a really good dish.
Tonight I'm cooking tacos de canasta. That is made with chorizo and potatoes, chorizo con papas, and salsa verde. Frying my chilies, my chili arbol for my salsa. I boil some tomatillos, and I need to put also some onion. My salsa verde needs to be very hot when you are putting on the top of the tacos. So I hope it will be hot enough. This recipe is from Tlaxcala. And it's very traditional in Mexico. It's very popular. To be the perfect dish, it needs to be quite hot. The tortilla needs to be thin and very soft. So I hope it's good.
I am making tequila shredded beef taco with a red cabbage slaw and guacamole.
I want to pressure cook it so it can get nice and tender and cook down and be nice and delicious. I make this for my husband all the time. It is his favorite. Pretty much any time I go, what do you want for dinner? He's like, shredded beef tacos. Throw in the tequila.
There are lots of elements to get right tonight. What do you need to make sure you really nail?
Just get the beef cooked and get it nice and tender. I normally slow cook everything, but for these purposes, I'm gonna use a pressure cooker.
Okay, well, wonderful. Hopefully the pressure stays in here and not on you. Good luck.
Yeah.
The pressure is actually on Junior Chef Aaron.
That's it. Let's get it weighed up. Let's get them on.
He's tackling 2 different tacos from El Publico's menu.
Tonight I'm doing tacos 2 way. One is a fried chicken classic. The other one is a salsa matcha wagyu tri-tip.
Do you think they're big enough to portion to 3?
Yeah.
It's a little bit of a concern, Aaron, on the tacos tonight. He's actually a larder chef.
We really have to get this into the sous vide.
Yeah, let's go now.
To cook for 1.5 hours before we start to fry it. There was a lot of pressure on me putting up 2 tacos. It is a lot to get done in 2 hours.
We're gonna mix that baja. You need to get tomatoes, you need to get onion, you need to get green chili out.
The crispy chicken has a baja, which is a mixture of creme fraiche and mayonnaise and some other zest and stuff like that.
It's like watching your kids' first day of school. I just wanted to jump down there and help. It was so hard. I couldn't sit still. Good? Okay, great.
Junior Chef Aaron and our 4 home cooks are under pressure to create their version of Mexican tacos.
Oh, it smells good.
All in a bid to wow blind tasting judge Mark.
Mark, let's talk tacos.
What I'm looking for is something that's going to be really tasty. I don't want a meat component in there that's tough or chewy.
So with that rich, beautiful meat, what are you expecting with salsas?
I don't want a salsa that's not going to go with anything. It's got to actually all come together. And look, what's really important is the actual taco itself, the tortilla. I want my tortilla to be nice, pliable, so it's just got to encase everything that's in there so I can just take a nice bite and get it all together.
So to make my tortillas, I take a nice fine masa flour and mix it with lukewarm water. You don't want it too warm, and a little bit of salt. And I did some sneaky lime juice in there to add a little bit of extra flavor.
Masa is made from cornmeal, so it's gluten-free. So you've really got to work it to bring out the elasticity in it.
Need some more water, Chef.
Yeah. We use a tortilla press, handmade at El Publico, and I think it gets the best results.
I did have a little hiccup with the tortillas. Forgot to put the top on. That's just a recipe for disaster, so it was just a matter of kneading it back together and having another go.
I heat 2 pans, 2 different temperatures, one really hot, one medium hot, and goes from one to the other.
Ideally, on the last flip, you should get a bit of a puff. So, I mean, it should pillow up a little bit. Even just a little bit's fine with me.
You do want to get this nice puff because that means the layers are separating, you're getting the steam inside and it's cooking it.
Woohoo! I'm happy. I'm happy with that.
Who taught you how to make these special type of tacos?
Yeah, my mom and my grandma. Usually we love street food, so they teach me how to do it.
I think this is absolutely fantastic because to the Australian public, they probably have not heard of this style of taco before. And making a taco and then actually putting it into a basket to let it sweat, probably they're like, what is going on? But this is a very classic, authentic recipe for tacos, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yes. And it's to sweat, so I need to put also the oil with the chili, some onion, and grab it. Everything that you grab, leave it there for 15 minutes. So that's make the tortilla very soft and sweaty.
You have 15 minutes left, 15 minutes till you need your plates on the pass.
Tasting it to make sure that the flavours are balanced and that everything comes through in the way that I want it to. There wasn't enough honey flavour, so I've actually added a different type of honey. This is a different one than the one I was using, so it's got a different taste to it. I'll keep tasting it, and if it's too sweet, I'll just keep balancing and tweaking until I'm happy with it, and then hopefully Mark is going to be happy with it too.
Right now I'm doing the cabbage slaw. So I've done a lime, coriander, and sour cream kind of sauce, and I'm gonna toss that into there.
When I pulled the beef out, it shredded beautifully.
Looks good. The beef is shredding up nicely, so I'm happy. We'll see how it tastes.
This is going to be the chocolate mole, my version of a chocolate mole, my quick weekly mole that I use for when we have tacos.
It's based on traditional chocolate mole, but it doesn't have as many ingredients as it traditionally would have, but it's sort of Dave's version of the mole.
It's cocoa, it's not chocolate, so it's not sweetened. It's not like a confectionery chocolate. Just picturing it with the other flavours on the plate. Obviously, with the beef, it needs to be balanced when you're eating the taco itself, because you're not eating this on its own necessarily.
I wanted my beef to be medium rare. Unfortunately, it's probably gone just a little bit over that to about the medium stage. Although it's a really nice cut of meat, I'll probably get away with it.
5 minutes to go.
I really want the beef in my tacos to be nice and tender and just kind of fall apart in your mouth, and hopefully they like it.
I'd like it to turn out to be very flavourful, but I do hope that I haven't gone overboard with the sweetness. I'm just going to have to do.
Think about that chicken. Gotta hustle, bro. Gotta hustle. With these 2 tacos, cooking 2 different proteins, it was definitely a push.
I'm stressing out. Chicken, and I'm standing there just like...
Come on, chef, come on. Steak on.
The Wagyu tri-tip that we're using isn't marinated. We wanted to emphasize the freshness of the dish.
Beef's there.
Out. That combined with the blowtorch cheese and fresh garnish, we feel that's the best way to pay homage to such a beautiful cut of meat.
Whew. There's 1 minute to go, yeah? 1 minute.
Let's go. Finish it.
I suggest you put something on the plate. It's got to be on the pass. 10 seconds, go.
More matcha.
Chicken on.
Where did the time go? I did end up using the baking tray.
That's your plate, mate.
That's your plate, bro.
It was like totally just random. I don't know where that came from.
Good work.
Certain elements were an issue getting over the line. Obviously, the plating was the end kind of struggle, but I think the flavours are there, so I'm pretty stoked about that.
It's Mexican week and the taco challenge is over. Our home cooks went up against the junior chef from El Publico, Aaron. Mark, tonight's blind tasting judge, will now taste all 5 dishes without knowing if they were prepared by a home cook or the restaurant.
Wow.
Yes, that's right, Mark. Wow. We had an epic showdown. People were scrambling to really put their plate up on the pass. This is a chorizo and potato tacos canasta.
Wow, look at this. So cute.
It's a very traditional taco, very popular street food where they get the tacos and they put it into this canasta and let it steam till it's nice and soft.
Wow. Isn't that interesting? The tortilla is just perfect. It's just nice and pliable and it's not chewy. You just put it in your mouth. It's nice and soft and fluffy almost. Sauce is great. Got a little bit of a bite to it.
Yes, it's a tomatillo, avocado and jalapeno salsa.
I like this. It's very simple. It's got the chorizo and the creaminess of the potato, which is really nice, and the crunch of the onion. I think there's just a little bit too much spice, because I can still feel that heat, even though the avocado is trying to cool that down.
This is a pulled beef taco with lime, honey, and chipotle.
Let's face it, really generous. Look how much is on that tortilla. I mean, I'd really need a bib to tuck into that. You know what? The pulled beef on that is cooked really nice. It's got a smoky flavour through it, but the flavour's a bit too sweet.
There is the addition of honey in the beef.
It does overpower the savoury aspect of it. And let's face it, addition of a little bit of acidity there would have been really nice to cut through all of that sweetness. Would have helped it a lot.
This is a crispy chicken and cabbage taco and steak and cheese tacos.
A baking tray? Were they sort of like running up to the pass?
They were.
Yes, they were. It was either this or no plate at all on the pass.
Well, look, they look delicious anyway.
Try the chicken.
Wow.
They nailed that chicken taco because that flavour combination is really, really nice. The beef, could have had a bit more flavour in there. They've left everything else on top and the flavour profile, it's just not there. Overall, look, really impressive that they got 2 tacos up on the plate. The only downside is they should have marinated the beef or given it a little bit of flavour because it just doesn't come through.
These are beef tacos with a cabbage slaw and 3 salsas.
3 salsas?
Yeah.
Wow, that's really nice.
And just to let you know, the beef was intended to be medium rare.
Okay. Try a little bit of this. So this is the mole?
Yes, this is the chocolate mole.
This isn't a bad combination. This is a really well-balanced mole. Look, overall, this one had great salsas, but the meat was still tender, but not how they intended to cook it, which is a real pity.
These are tequila beef tacos with cabbage slaw.
Tequila beef. Look, this looks really nice and easy, something you can just pick up and pop into your mouth as well. What a lovely taco. That salsa is so nice, light and tangy and fresh, and it's nicely shredded meat. Goes well with that jalapeno. And look at this tortilla. It's perfect. I could be running after a bus holding one of these. This is a really well-balanced taco. I love it.
Well, there's 5 different plates of tacos on the pass. You've got to decide which taco you liked the most.
Tonight, our home cooks have used their experience to deliver their best tacos to the pass. Now, blind tasting judge Mark will announce if they did enough to outcook junior chef Aaron.
Well, what better way to start Mexican week than a taco challenge?
Home cooks. Does anyone think they couldn't beat the restaurant tonight?
Hope so.
Yeah,
I hope so.
Joe, how much would you like to cook again?
Very, very much. I'm not ready to go home.
Tommy, how did Aaron go?
I think he's got all the elements on the plate, the tacos. I know the flavours are good. I guess it's up to Mark.
Look, the pass was just vibrant and it was exactly how I imagined how Mexico would be. The best plate on the pass for me was tequila beef tacos. Here's that.
That's me. Oh, wow.
I tell you what, those tortillas were just beautiful. And their salsa just popped and balanced it right out. So well done.
Thank you.
I was, so happy. So happy. I did not expect it at all.
Aaron, how are you feeling?
Coming in as the chef, versing 4 amazingly talented home cooks, there's so much pressure going on. These guys are just amazing.
Mark, which plate on the pass did not live up to your expectations?
The plate that didn't live up to expectations for me was pulled beef tacos. Whose that?
That's me.
Joe, how are you feeling?
Disappointed, but it's life. I've had a great time.
Overall, a balance of flavours. It was just a little bit too sweet.
Got to say, I've had an absolute ball. I would love to have gone on and cooked further, but I'm so happy that I'm here today and I got this opportunity.
I'm so sorry, Joe. That does mean you are going home tonight. But congratulations, Becky. You got best plate on the pass. You managed to beat the restaurant. So you get this trophy.
Thank you.
Welcome to Davo's Fiesta.
It's a celebration of Mexican cuisine for our 3 remaining home cooks. There's Mexican born and raised Flor.
I'm so passionate about Mexican food because of the flavors and the variety, the spices.
Looks so yummy. Carpenter David.
What we have here, we have some 26-hour roasted brisket.
Mexican food was the first cuisine that was far from anything that I'd tasted before. And it just really stuck with me.
That's it. Let's eat, guys. That's some yum.
And Californian mother of 1, Becky.
There's onions flying everywhere. Mexican food, I find that there's so much love in it. Making it for my family, and it's kind of my way to show them love is to feed them.
And our home cooks have some serious competition as they take on the chef's line from El Publico.
We need to get that pork ready.
With head chef Tommy Payne at the helm.
Look, El Publico is a modern Mexican restaurant and bar. We make everything fresh every day. Whether it be the tortilla, the salsa, the garnish, it's all fresh, it's all handmade.
What a combination of flavours. The ocean trout and that orange zest really just brings it alive.
Bitter, sweet, spicy, really diverse cuisine with very big flavours.
Fresh, delicious, smoky, great way to start a meal.
Thank you.
Cheers, chef.
Cheers.
Welcome back to the Chef's Line. This week, we are having a fiesta celebrating Mexican cuisine.
So who's ready to cook?
We're ready.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you think a home cook can beat the restaurant tonight?
It's happened once.
No chance.
Head chef Tommy, who's next in the chef's line to cook tonight?
Up tonight is Chris, the station chef. He's been cooking on all sections of the El Publico kitchen, so I rate his skills and I rate his chances tonight.
Chris, it's time for you to step up and represent your restaurant.
Chris, How are you feeling?
I'm quite confident that I can win.
Ooh,
That's
did you hear
some
that?
serious
Did you hear that, home cooks?
Go,
Did you hear
Chris.
that?
Well, tonight we would like to taste your best. Aguachile.
Originating from northern Mexico, aguachile is a spicy interpretation of ceviche, which uses chili and citrus juice to lightly cure seafood. Traditionally made with prawns, other types of seafood may be used. The key to perfecting aguachile is a very fine balance between acidity, heat, and freshness.
Now, the best plate will be decided by one of us, and to keep it fair, that judge will be blind tasting. And tonight, it's Dan.
Well, I love raw seafood and I love chili, so bring it on.
Dan will taste and judge each dish without knowing if it was made by a home cook or the professional.
You have 1 hour, so let's cook.
Go, Chris.
Tonight I'm cooking aguachile with prawns, and I will make also tostadas. The tostadas, it will be nice because combine perfectly the crunchiness. The recipe is from Sinaloa in Mexico, very traditional because Sinaloa is very hot, so people really love the freshness of the seafood. My prawns are cooking with the lemon juice, only with the juice. After I need to add the chili. To make the aguachile, it is orange, coriander, green chili, jalapeno chili. Also, I add cucumber, red onion. I think it's important to show all Australia the way that the Mexicans cook. I hope it's not too spicy for the judges, so let's have a look.
Tonight I am cooking a snapper aguachile with pink grapefruit and tomatillos. I'm gonna start it off in an orange juice and lime juice combination, but I have to fillet a snapper, so I will be focused and trying to get that done right.
Filleting a fish myself, it's not something I would normally do.
You're fishy.
I intend to have a snapper into the citrus liquid as quickly as possible.
Come on, little fishy.
But the snapper, it just was stubborn.
Come on, fishy.
I had a few conversations with the fish, which I'm slightly embarrassed about.
I promise you'll have a nice bath. It'll be wonderful.
I was really under the pump and I was nervous.
I'm gonna spend the whole time doing this.
Tonight I'm cooking fresh scallops with beetroot and jalapeno puree with fresh cherries. I've got my beetroot braising away in a balsamic reduction there. I have jalapenos just blistering up just for the puree. And then it'll have a combination of fresh ingredients. There's charred corn, cucumber, capsicum, and some avocado. I have slight concerns in regards to flavours. There is an earthiness tone to the beetroot, which is a risk of not going quite well with the acidity of the scallops. I want the scallop to be the hero, so it'd be cooked in a lime juice and a bit of salt. You know, they're meant to all combine and give you a nice fresh flavour palette, so hopefully it works out. It's tasting pretty good.
Tonight I'm making kingfish aguachile with mezcal watermelon and coconut granita. Right here I'm making the coconut granita. That's gonna garnish our aguachile. In the dish you got all these elements of heat and acidity and a bit of saltiness. It's all counterbalanced with the coconut granita.
Straight in the blast chiller. Nice. Chris is a very solid chef. He's a man of few words, but he gets the job done.
I'm just juicing up some limes at the moment. For the aguachile, for the sauce itself, aguachile translates to chili water, so it's got to be pretty hot.
If they're not hot, use the long red chilies, please.
Tommy, how is it all going?
Yeah, Chris is doing really well. He's got the granita in the blast chiller, the coconut's toasting. Yep. We're doing the aguachile now. Got to get that balance right, man. Get that chili in there, yeah?
Make sure it's hot.
I mean, being a chef, it's all about constantly tasting. Is it really difficult for you to be sitting up here not being able to taste?
I really want to get down there and taste that aguachile, but sitting put.
You're being a good boy sitting put. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Great colour, great result. Let's get the fish out onto your chopping board.
Right here, I am filleting the kingfish. Make sure you get around the head and get up right up to the spine, where the bone comes in like a triangular shape, and then you come all the way down, keeping your knife as flat as possible. You know, not lose too much meat.
Nice one, Chris. Good fillet. Good work, Chris. Good fillet, man. Nice and clean, bro.
Oh, come on. I lost a lot of time filleting the snapper. I had intended to have it into the citrus liquid within like 10 minutes.
Becky, you're looking a little stressed there. Is this something that you do often, filleting a whole fish?
No, the fish and I are not getting along.
Okay, what's your plan?
I have another fillet on the other side. I'll see what I can do with this one, and then I've got another chance on the other side there, so we'll go from there.
I'll leave you with it to focus. Good luck.
Thank you.
We've got 30 minutes to go before we need your plate up on the pass, thanks.
Oh, my word.
The pressure is on. Our 3 home cooks and station chef Chris are working hard to make their best versions of the Mexican classic aguachile. They're all aiming to impress blind tasting judge Dan, who won't know who prepared which dish.
Well, the perfect aguachile to me has really fresh seafood that's been marinated in a dressing that's got to punch a lot of flavour. Traditionally, it's lime, coriander, onions, and chili. But I'm expecting to see other versions as long as it's really delicious and really complements that fish.
Not happy with that. My snapper needs to sit there in the citrus for 30 minutes for it to cure properly. So I'm right on the line.
With the curing liquid, I got the snapper into it as quickly as possible.
It's just crumbling.
The acidity of limes as well as orange cooks it. Also added some jalapeno, some red onion, and some coriander as well.
Cook. I need to get this in the fridge now and just go, go, go. I'm making my tostadas. First, we need to do the tortilla. And after fry the tortilla, it needs to be very crunchy.
Flora, tostadas, you're making these as well?
Yes, I'm making the tostadas, so they're crunchy.
Yeah.
I have my aguachile also with prawns.
So this is it here, it's curing now.
Yes,
You happy with it?
yes, I'm happy. I was feeling very nervous because the aguachile, that's the name, agua with chili, spicy.
Dan's the judge, not me. It's torture, isn't it?
I know,
But I'll leave
especially
it to
for
it.
my taste.
With the beetroot puree, it's a fresh beetroot simmered in balsamic vinegar with a touch of brown sugar. And then I add jalapenos into a food processor and then blend that. So there's sort of 2 different notes of flavour there. I personally think they work with the acidity of the scallops. And that's the kicker of the whole dish.
At the moment, I'm cutting up cubes of watermelon to compress with some mezcal.
It looks like a Rubik's Cube, mate. Nicely squared, Chrissy.
What happens is I'll put it in the bag with a bit of mezcal and suck all the air out of it. And all the mezcal will combine into the watermelon.
That mezcal will add the smokiness to the dish.
It's looking good.
5 minutes to go.
Plating my aguachiles, I knew that the snapper wasn't looking its best. So I chose a pink plate, which I thought would complement the pink grapefruit, and just wanted to make it look as appetizing as possible.
The scallops have to be spot on. If they're overcooked, if they're left in the lime juice too long, it will destroy the dish. And then the beetroot puree is really the only other element on the plate, so it needs to be as good or if not better than the scallops.
For the kingfish, lightly coat it with a bit of citrus. I haven't sliced it too thin. I've kept it a little bit thicker so that, you know, it doesn't overcure.
Frozen? Set? Solid? Yes, chef. Boom.
When I pulled the coconut granita out of the blast chiller, it was very, very hard to scrape out, like a block.
Plating up, put some mayonnaise on the tostada, put the aguachile and spread some chili powder.
You should be heading towards the pass.
I was really worried about the dish as a whole because of the trouble with filleting the snapper, but I pulled it all together in just the nick of time.
Go fishy.
15 seconds. Corn floor, start moving.
My beetroot puree in the end was a little bit coarse for my liking, but the flavour was there, just the texture was a little bit out, unfortunately.
Apart from that, it's pretty good.
It's Mexican week. Our three home cooks and station chef Chris from El Publico have just presented their versions of aguachile. Dan will now see and taste their creations for the first time.
Dan, arriba, arriba.
Wow.
Festive.
Looks great. Looks awesome.
Well, we know how much you love raw and or very, very slightly cooked seafood, so this should be fun.
Dan, kingfish aguachile with watermelon and coconut granita.
Well, it looks great. Very modern. I love the beautiful cubes of watermelon, and I can see that coconut granita.
And it matches your dress, Mel.
It does. Hit a hot spot there.
That habanero is very hot.
Woo!
Oh, this is what this challenge is all about. Aguachile, water. I can see the water there. This beautiful, almost, it's like a red pepper infusion or something. It's delicious. I love the slight curing of that kingfish. It's slightly cooked by the acid, but the texture is still like raw kingfish, which I love. I love the onion, the coriander. It's very fragrant. And even though that habanero is really, really hot, I've got that watermelon there and that coconut granita to really cool my mouth down. This dish is delicious.
Dan, prawn aguachile with cucumbers and tostadas.
Well, this is very Mexican, you know, this mortar type style to really grind the avocado in there and the old Mexican flag. Fantastic.
And that tostada's got that crunch to it. Sounds amazing.
Look, this is a solid, traditional aguachile. I get that flavour of the jalapeno, that smoothness of the avocado really cuts the heat of that chili. It's just lacking a little bit of salt to really launch it up into the stratosphere. But you know what? I love the tostadas, classic combination to go with the aguachile. And I like the fact that these prawns were really cured in that acid, really changed the texture and made it really pleasant.
This is a scallop aguachile with a beetroot and jalapeno puree.
This looks great. Top marks for creativity.
Well, to me, it looks like Rubik's Cube.
That's definitely a cube.
Yeah.
Dig in, Dan.
I don't mind that this plate thought outside of the box or cube and added beetroot and cherries. But in my opinion, the flavour of the beetroot just does not go well with how sweet and oceanic and clean a scallop is. But you know what? Those scallops are beautiful. They're really fresh, soft, almost velvety. And I love the textures in this aguachile. You know, the cucumber dice, the corn, adds a little sweetness and some freshness to it. It's delicious.
This is an aguachile of red snapper, pink grapefruit, and tomatillo.
This looks beautiful. It looks like something from a restaurant. Maybe a little too much jalapeno. Could be really hot, but it's very pretty. Look, the snapper's not sliced great, but you know what? The texture of the snapper is quite nice. The grapefruit adds quite a lot of juiciness, and I love the heat from the jalapeno and the acidity coming from the tomatillo. Look, this is a very simple, beautiful, aromatic aguachile.
Well, you have 4 plates of aguachile on the pass, all very, very different. I'm looking forward to hearing what your decision is.
I think I've already decided.
It's Mexican week. Our 3 home cooks and station chef Chris have battled it out over the Mexican classic aguachile. Blind tasting judge Dan has sampled all 4 dishes and is now ready to deliver his verdict.
How's our home cooks? Think you've got a win here?
Maybe.
They're looking a bit scared after that day. How much would you like to cook again?
Oh, I'd love to cook again.
I think that's why we're all here. Personally, yeah, I want to get to the end.
Dan, please tell us which was your favourite plate.
My favourite plate had bags of flavour. It had balance. It had heat. It had acidity. But it was also very creative. And for that reason, the best plate on the pass is the kingfish aguachile with watermelon and coconut granita. Chris, how are you feeling?
Much better now. I put up what I thought was 100%.
Look, the kingfish had a beautiful texture, and even though it was so hot from that habanero, that coconut granita and that watermelon really cooled the palate down. Very, very creative, so well done. Tommy, you look very relieved, very happy.
Yep, he's done well. It's a great dish of our Publico's, and I'm very proud of it.
Dan, would you tell us which plate did not stack up tonight?
The plate that did not live up to my expectations is the scallop aguachile with beetroot and cherry.
That'd be me.
Sorry, David.
That's fair. There's a lot of lovely plates up there, beautiful food. So I've gotten this far, which is fantastic.
Well, you know what? I really admired the creativity of this dish. It's just that the earthiness of the beetroot, I thought didn't go well with that sweet, subtle flavour of the scallop.
Well, I'm sorry, David. That does mean you are leaving us tonight and going home. But congratulations, El Publico. Best plate on the pass.
Yeah, to get the first win for the restaurant, it's very good. It feels great to get the ball moving and carry on for the rest of the competition.
Mexican week will be down to the wire as 2 great home cooks remain.
Oh, good chopping.
There's Californian mum of 1, Becky.
I was born and raised in Northern California, and there's a huge Hispanic community there and tons of amazing Mexican food.
Everybody loves Taco Tuesday.
And that's kind of where my passion for Mexican food came from. It was a necessity, really. I needed to know how to cook Mexican food because I needed it in my life.
There you go. Tequila lime chicken pasta.
We are in love of Mexican.
And Mexican-born Flor.
For me, it's so important to represent the Mexican cuisine. I love spicy. As a Mexican, I'm very proud of my dishes, of our flavors. The combination of sweet and sour. Yeah, it's like a party in your mouth. You never know what to expect. I think it's important to show all Australia the way that the Mexicans cook.
Both our home cooks will take on the professionals from Perth restaurant El Publico,
We need to get that pork ready.
Yes, chef.
where head chef Tommy Payne combines old world dishes with a modern day flair. This is a beautiful thing.
It is a beautiful thing. Even better when it's cooked, mate. If you get it just right, they'll actually puff up on the stove in front of your eyes.
Ooh.
We make everything fresh every day. Whether it be the tortilla, the salsa, the garnish, it's all fresh, it's all handmade.
What a combination of flavours. The ocean trout and that orange zest really just brings it alive.
Congratulations, ladies, on being the last two home cooks standing. You two seem like you've become really good friends along the way.
We just exchanged numbers.
We're going in a girls' trip.
To Perth to go to El Publico.
Yeah, awesome.
Flor and Becky, do well tonight and you have the opportunity to cook against head chef Tommy.
Tommy, who's next in your chef's line to cook tonight?
We have Gianni, my sous chef.
How do you rate Gianni's chances tonight?
Very highly. He knows the cuisine very well. He's been cooking it his whole life, and I think he's going to produce the goods tonight.
Sous chef Gianni, please step up.
Gianni, how are you feeling?
A little bit nervous, I must admit. Home cooks have shown a lot of passion and a lot of skill, but we're the professionals, so we can't lead the team down.
Well, it looks like tonight's going to be a great competition. Sous chef Gianni is born and raised in Mexico. Do you guys think you can beat him?
Yeah, no pressure.
We know you can do it. You've got a trophy on your station there.
Yeah, I just have to keep looking back at that and just let it inspire me and know, like, I can do it.
Well, tonight, we want to see your best chilaquiles.
Chilaquiles means chilies and greens. Traditionally eaten at breakfast, the dish was invented to make use of leftover tortilla chips and salsa. Though it's often topped with scrambled eggs, avocado or pulled chicken, there are also many other regional variations.
Tonight, the judge that will be blind tasting is Melissa.
Good luck.
As the blind tasting judge, Melissa will taste each dish without knowing if it was made by sous chef Gianni or by the home cooks.
You have 75 minutes, so let's cook.
Vamos!
Tonight I'm making chilaquiles with chicken and egg and also the torta de chilaquiles. The first thing that I did, it was my tortillas, because usually you have to spend a lot of time making the tortillas, put it in the saucepan. After when they're done, you need to cut it in triangles and fry all the tortillas. I need to boil my chicken breast with some spices, onion, garlic, and a little bit of salt. The time is very short, so I need to concentrate because the time flies.
I am making a baked salsa verde chilaquiles. I've already got some tomatillos roasting off, as well as some poblanos and jalapeno. I've also got tortillas to make. Let them cool off, then fry them. So there's a lot to do in a short amount of time.
So when I make my tortillas, I get the masa flour and mix in a nice kind of lukewarm water. You don't want it too hot. I also squeeze in some sneaky lime juice and a little bit of salt. You want to get a nice spongy dough. Then I roll them out into the balls and keep them underneath a warm tea towel just to keep the dough nice and moist.
I've got my tortillas all rolled up. They're having a little nap.
Tonight I'll be cooking El Publico's Chilaquiles with 3 fresh salsas, all tomatillo based. So we have a tomatillo sauce, we have an avocado sauce, and a tomatillo pico de gallo. It is a very simple dish, but it can be an amazing dish if you just look out for a few key things. Keep the freshness in there, keep it lively, keep it exciting, and don't overcook your tortillas. Usually chilaquiles are made with stale whole tortillas. It's a dish like many other cultures have old bread, which they invent the dish for. So we need to get some age into them, so we need to get this going as quickly as we can.
Yeah, look at that press.
To grate the tortillas, obviously it's a handmade process. We don't have an automatic machine. A little bit of elbow grease will definitely get the result done. Also, tortillas will be triple cooked for this.
Look at this guy, calculated, organized.
It's like the Mexican Terminator.
We'll fry them in a pan, then we'll deep fry them, and then we'll cook them in the salsa.
Great work.
Done.
Onto salsa.
Yes, chef.
Do this, do this. It's a little bit slow on making the tortillas to start with, but I just had a million things running through my mind. And I was thinking ahead, trying to think of the other things I needed to do. So it seemed a bit slow, but I was also getting other things done at the same time. Everyone does things differently. So they may be at different stages, but I may have done something else, or they may be faster.
The salsa, I make the green salsa with tomatillo, some chili, coriander, onion, garlic, and epazote. The secret ingredient of the sauce makes the flavor totally different. We usually add fresh epazotes, but we have now
This is a dried epazote.
dry one, yeah.
It's like a fragrant, it's almost a little bit lemony, sort of.
Yeah, actually, this one is good for the digestion.
With the salsa verde, you need to get the tanginess right. So you've got the tomatillos, which can be a little bit tart. So you don't want it to be too overpowering. So you've got the lime juice in there as well. And then just combine it all together. And I threw a little salt in there as well. That's yum.
So once the tortillas are pressed and cooked and cooling down, it gives me a chance to start working on the prep. So we got jalapenos here, starting chili in Mexico, used for many recipes. Fresh tomatillos, avocado, coriander seeds toasting off here, onion, garlic.
He's got some deadly knife skills here.
Gianni is a gun. He is a gun. We call him Machete in the kitchen, and he will crush it today.
Got some tough competition though, don't you reckon, with Flora? And...
Yeah, as soon as I saw Flora on the first night, I knew she was going to be the stiffest competition. She's been cooking Mexican food since she was a child.
And look, Becky's killing it down there.
She's doing great. Every dish she's put up so far has been really good. And in my opinion, home cooks are always the best cooks. I learned to cook for my mum.
Yeah.
And that's where you develop a passion for food.
The first salsa that we're cooking is a tomatillo salsa, in which we're going to cook the totopos. And this is literally just fresh tomatillos, onion, garlic, lime, and coriander. Because we're using fresh tomatillos, this sauce can go really wrong. Tomatillos have a very mild flavor, a little bit acidic. And if we are adding raw garlic, it completely overpowers the rest of the subtle flavors of the tomatillo. So it's crucial to get that right, that balance. I tasted it. It seemed right. When I went back for a second taste, I noticed there was too much garlic. Chef, too much garlic in the first tomatillo.
Oh, really? You're doing the first one again?
Too much garlic.
It's Mexican week. Our two home cooks, Flora and Becky, are battling El Publico's sous chef Gianni in a Chilaquiles challenge.
Okay, you've got 30 minutes until we need your plate up on the pass, thanks.
Tonight's blind tasting judge is Melissa. She'll pick the winner without knowing whether she's tasting the dish of a home cook or the sous chef.
My expectations of chilaquiles is very simple. Beautiful, soft tostadas that have been soaking in that gorgeous salsa, great, beautifully balanced, well-seasoned flavour, and some lovely textural pops on top. I think sometimes the simplest dishes can be the greatest ones.
Fry, little chippies.
So we have 3 fresh salsas, all tomatillo based. And when I made the first tomatillo salsa, I tasted it. I noticed there was too much garlic. So I've learned by experience that if something goes wrong, you need to fix it in the kitchen straight away and then move on to the next job. Which is what I did. I recooked the tomatillo salsa with less garlic. Came out perfect. So the avocado salsa is kind of a form of guacamole, if you will. So avocado, coriander, lime, salt, and chili. It's funny whenever anyone asks me what a real guacamole is or what an authentic guacamole is, I can give you at least 5 recipes and they're all real, they're all authentic, they're all Mexican. It just depends where you're from and who your grandmother is.
Go, G. Nice one, bro. Nice one.
He's looking good.
So when I was combining the salsa verde into the crisp tortilla chips, I didn't want to add too much because I didn't want to make it soggy. And then I added cheese, and I didn't want to add too much cheese because I didn't want to be too cheesy. And then I'm baking them in the oven.
The chilaquiles that I make today, this version is from Michoacan. The difference is the egg, because I fold the egg through my saucepan. If you're doing in this way, the egg will stick on the tortilla. So it makes a huge difference because the tortilla absorbs the flavor, makes a little bit dry, still crunchy. And when the tortilla absorbs the egg, I add my salsa. As a side dish, I make the torta de chilaquiles. They call the Mexican sandwich. The bread is like a sour bread. I add the chilaquiles, a little bit more of salsa. I add some onion, chicken, sour cream, cheese. I think works pretty well because it's what Mexican we usually have for breakfast.
So we have our tomatillo salsa, which we're gonna cook the chilaquiles in. We have the avocado salsa. That's the start of the pico de gallo, tomatillo, which we're gonna finish with. Just waiting on these totopos to crisp up. They're puffing up really nicely. We've got a little bit of volume here, which is good. That'll give us the texture that we're looking for, so soft in the middle and crispy on the outside once we get to cook them. I had my side of the cook packed down, but I wanted to check out what they were doing. You know, you gotta size up your competition. ¿Para qué vas a usar el pan?
Una torta de chilaquiles.
¿Vas a hacer torta de chilaquiles? Sí. Ándale. Qué buena onda. Cool.
Nada más la diferencia es de que le añades la crema.
¿Pusiste crema ahí?
Crema.
Órale. Hello, Beck. Sorry, we're speaking Spanish here.
You can't speak in code.
How are your
That's
chilaquiles?
not fair.
What's going on here?
Oh, I'm just about to cook an egg. I've got my stuff in the oven and just trying to get it
You're
done.
baking them, your chilaquiles.
Yeah.
You're getting some cheese on top, or what's
Oh,
the plan?
it's layered.
You're making like a lasagna then?
Yes.
Layers. Totopo,
Yes.
salsa, cheese. Totopo, salsa, cheese.
Exactly.
Nice. That's a traditional way of making chilaquiles.
So are you finished and just out for a stroll?
Just buying some time. I thought I would check how you guys were doing.
Little stressed.
Aren't we all?
Yeah.
Aren't we all?
5 minutes, guys. You got 5 minutes, so you need to get your plates on the pass.
All right, it's coming out.
Getting that balance right really is trial and error because we're looking at 6 elements there plus the totopos, and then you have a fried egg to bring it all together.
I thought I was running behind the entire time, but I'm really happy with what I plated up, and I think the flavors are there, and yeah, I'm excited.
It's Mexican week and the Chilaquiles challenge is over. Home cooks Flor and Becky have been battling against El Publico's sous chef Gianni. Melissa, tonight's blind tasting judge, will sample the 3 versions of Chilaquiles with no idea which dish was prepared by the chef or the home cooks.
Well, I don't know about you, but I'm definitely feeling like breakfast.
Yeah, look, 3 green versions of chilaquiles on the pass. I think you're in for a great treat. This is a baked salsa verde chilaquiles.
This is looking very promising. Love that fried egg on top.
Yeah, it looks great. Look at that yolk. Oh.
So good.
That is a perfectly cooked egg.
I love a sunny side up egg. Lovely.
Must be pretty good.
Gone in for seconds.
Okay. I love the ricotta on top. Adds a little lovely salty touch to this dish. That little tiny bit of spice and the freshness from the coriander. This is a lovely dish. If anything, I would have to say I'd love a little bit more salsa verde in with the tostadas because the texture of the tostadas is still a little crunchy, a little brittle. And for me, when I think about chilaquiles, I think about that soft tostada texture and really the crunchy bits being on the outside if it's being grilled. But it's a really lovely dish. I'd happily eat this for breakfast any day of the week.
This is a chilaquiles with 3 salsas.
I love seeing the avocado here on the plate. I can see possibly an avocado cream as well as some pieces of avocado.
That's right, that's one of the salsas. So that's the guacamole salsa.
Great. And I see a salsa verde.
Yes, the salsa verde.
Lovely. Now that's the texture I was looking for. It's still holding together, but I could pull it apart. Lovely. This dish has great balance of flavour and perfect seasoning straight off the bat. Very clear. Creaminess of the avocado and the crema, that really bright acidity from the salsa verde, that beautiful sunshiny yolk. Overall, everything works beautifully together, and 3 salsas, great choice.
This is a chicken and egg chilaquiles with tomatillo salsa.
Well, I see a lot of ricotta over the top.
Yeah, this cheese is a mixture of ricotta and feta cheese.
Right. This is a really lovely dish. I wish I could see a little more tostada from the top, but I suspect I'll find them if I dig a little deeper.
I mean, you will. It's layered.
Ooh la la.
They definitely look like layers of flavour. Look at that.
Look at that. Lovely tender tostada.
And you also have the chilaquiles torta on the side.
Wonderful. At first glance, the ricotta, the feta, the crema on top looks like it might be a bit too much, especially with the addition of the richness of meat. There's chicken in here and egg. But the acidity of the salsa verde with the richness of all of these other ingredients make for one hell of a chilaquiles.
Does this have purpose?
I don't have a problem with it. They were wanting to show authenticity in terms of the true way Mexicans eat breakfast, which is with a lot of gusto, clearly. It's tasty.
3 beautiful versions of chilaquiles on the pass. You've got to decide.
It's Mexican week. Home cooks Flor and Becky have been competing against El Publico's sous chef Gianni in a Chilaquiles challenge. And now it's time to find out which is Melissa's favourite.
Look what we have on the pass. 3 amazing plates celebrating this Mexican dish, chilaquiles.
Becky, how are you feeling?
I'm a bit nervous. The 2 of them are so gifted. They both grew up cooking these things, so I'd be upset if I went home, but I'd be super excited for her at the same time.
Flor, would you like to cook against Chef Tommy here?
I think that would be great, you know, this feeling like we can do something else, not only cooking at home.
Gianni, how do you think you went?
I think ours is a banging dish. Every element is what we usually do. Hopefully that's good enough. There's a couple of dishes there that look very good as well, so I'm a little bit concerned. I'll be lying if I wouldn't say so.
Well, tonight they were all fantastic. I was amazed and I was really comforted by the food that I tasted. And so the best plate on the pass is chilaquiles with torta and chicken. Flor, how are you feeling?
Very happy. I was thinking for some people it's quite weird because it's bread plus the tortilla, chicken.
Well, I'm glad that you trusted your instinct because what I really loved about your plate is that it had so much soul. You balanced the acidity and the richness beautifully. The texture of the tostadas were perfect. And look, the torta, I'm so glad you put it up there because that was just delicious.
Melissa, which plate on the pass did not live up to your expectations?
Chilaquiles baked with salsa verde.
Yep, that's fine.
I'm so sorry, Becky.
That's okay. I mean, look who I was up against. It was kind of inevitable.
Becky, I don't know know, because this was probably one of the hardest decisions I've had to make. You guys are flying the flag for Mexico in the most wonderful way, and so for you to be going home tonight, I don't see as any comment on your skill, your ability, or your understanding of how to cook.
No, I'm happy with how everything went, and to come this far and to be competing against this caliber here, like, it's an honor.
I'm so sorry, Becky, that means you are going home tonight. But congratulations, Flor. You win Best Plate on the Pass, and you are through to the final against head chef Tommy. You get this trophy.
Congratulations. Yeah, I won. I'm very happy. You know, it's very special for me.
Smells good. Mexican Week has been a tough contest.
You sure you're going to get everything plated?
Between 4 talented home cooks and the chef's line of El Publico restaurant. Now just one home cook remains.
This is my chile en nogada.
33-year-old Mexican-born Flor.
It's a very popular and very traditional dish. I'm happy to be here and represent the Mexican community. All the flavors and the spices and the way that we cook.
With a lifetime of cooking Mexican cuisine behind her, Flor now takes on Tommy, the head chef of El Publico. This Perth restaurant is known for modernising classic Mexican recipes.
We try and do a traditional style of cuisine with a modern twist. So this is El Publico's carne pache with papitas.
Beautifully fried little baby capers.
There's no reason why we have to follow the age-old recipes. We can make it our own. We can adapt it to the Australian palate and what people will enjoy.
Thanks, Johnny. The ocean trail and that orange zest really just brings it alive. This is a battle between the contemporary approach of a chef and the tradition and heritage of a home cook.
Good evening and welcome to the Chef's Line. It's a Mexican standoff between passionate home cook Flor and head chef Tommy. Flor, did you ever imagine that your Mexican cooking could measure up against a professional restaurant?
Never, no.
Last night, you won Best Plate on the Pass against sous chef Gianni. Do you think you can do it tonight against head chef Tommy?
I hope so, and I think I will represent any dish very well.
Tommy, what is Mexican food all about?
It's a party. It's full of flavour, it's full of colour, and it's got a new lease of life. There's some chefs out there doing some amazing things, and it's great to be up here and show everyone what I've got.
Well, I guess you both want to know what you'll be cooking tonight. We want to taste your best mole.
Mole refers to a multitude of rich Mexican sauces. The most common is mole poblano, which at its most elaborate can contain up to 100 ingredients, including chocolate, chili, fruit, vegetables, nuts, seeds and spices. Deep and flavoursome, it complements pork or poultry.
And it's up to you to decide what you put with it.
The judge that will be blind tasting tonight is Dan.
Well, I love big, bold and spicy flavours, and that's what I expect to see tonight.
Dan will taste and judge both interpretations of mole without knowing if they were made by Flor or by head chef Tommy.
You have 2 hours. Let's cook.
Vamos, Tommy.
Oh, bro.
I'm very happy to be here today because I'm confident and I'm happy to represent Mexican culture, traditions, the way that we cook.
Yeah, tonight the pressure's on. We really want to win. The home cooks have got 2, we've only got 1, and it's my time to shine.
I'm making a mole poblano with chicken, chocolate, and Mexican rice with peas, carrots, and corn. First of all, I have to toast some dry chilies, also the sesame seeds, toasted some cloves, garlic, the cinnamon with the anise seed. So at the moment, I think I have 7 ingredients. Usually nowadays, no one has time. Everyone's buy it in a can, it's easy. But in the small towns of Mexico, they don't have even electricity. They still doing by hand. So that's why I decided to do it, because I really want to represent indigenous people that doing in this way. I will try my best.
El Publico's version of mole, which is a mole I learned from Maximo Bistro in Mexico City. And we're actually going to use a pozole, which is a baby chicken.
So this is a modern style of mole. It's a bit lighter. The mole is well balanced. It represents a modern style of Mexican cuisine.
Okay, one pot, we've just got a basic boil, which is just black turtle beans. We've got half an onion, jalapeno, some cascabel chili, and some epazote, fresh.
First step would be to get the beans on. That's an hour and a half cook time. From there, you would go to the nuts, seeds, and chilies.
And now I'm about to prepare the spices for the mole, and actually uses macadamia nuts.
The nuts, seeds, and chilies are just toasted. They're not overly bitter.
Beans on, tomatoes in, nuts
Yep.
and spices in, chef.
This mole, because everything's handmade, needs to have a lot of texture. I had a lot of ingredients. Each one has to be toasted, fried, and also crushed in the mortar. Right now, I have a chipotle chili. It needs to be boiled because even if you toast it, doesn't have the same texture. So it needs to be boiled, and when it's soft, I will also smash on my mortar. The flavors are very intense, and if you try it for the first time, I'm pretty sure everyone will love it.
All right, so we are starting the most important part of the mole, the chili. The chilies I've got here is guajillo, ancho, and pasilla, which is the holy trinity of chili.
Those 3 chilies together are called the holy trinity.
Chilies are bang on.
Looking good, chef. Looking good, chef. You got this.
Thanks, bro.
Look, there's holy trinities all over the world's cuisine, Vietnamese and Indian. It's just 3 flavors that really represent that cuisine.
When you dry them, the characters build, and it's just a total different product.
You toast off your chilies, you cook that out, you develop the flavors, and you process it into the mole.
It's the heart of the mole, really.
Love that combination, and I like to use those flavors as much as I can.
And it's the hero of the dish. The hero of the dish.
Hola, Flor.
Hola.
¿Cómo va todo?
Bien.
¿Qué tal? Qué bueno que estás en la final. Mucho gusto ver que hay mexicanos en la final mexicana.
Sí.
¿Lo estás haciendo todo a mano?
Todo a mano.
No manches. Pues la definición de mole, ¿no? A moler.
A moler.
A moler. Pues ahí viene
Es
el mole,
correcto,
¿no?
sí.
Pero es excelente. Y eso, mis respetos, porque nosotros lo hacemos en licuadora. A mano es una friega.
A moler, así es.
Huele muy bien. Pues suerte.
Gracias.
¡Viva México!
¡Viva!
Floor, an ancient indigenous recipe. Tell us about it.
That's right. Actually, the version of mole is mole poblano from the city of Puebla.
Wonderful. So what makes a mole poblano special?
The chocolate. I will use 2 kinds of chocolates. One is sweet and the other one is bitter.
Chocolate being indigenous to the country too, and your indigenous heritage.
The chocolates comes from the Aztecs. Even we put chocolate in different dishes, and it's amazing the ways that we combine.
I think for people that haven't tasted mole poblano before, they think, oh, chocolate in a savoury dish, isn't that going to be weird? But in this dish, this is not a sweet dish, is it?
No, it's a balance between sweet and spicy.
Well, look, you're looking really relaxed there, Floor. You need to really vamoose, because it's the final.
Yeah, I know.
Holy moly, you've got 1 hour to go.
It's Mexican week, and El Publico head chef Tommy Payne is up against Mexican-born home cook Flor in a mole challenge.
So Tommy, what are you cooking?
I've got my basic boil on for my beans.
Blind tasting judge Dan will decide whose interpretation impressed the most, without seeing which dish was created by whom.
There are many different types of mole. Mole is traditionally served with meat, and I'm looking for something like rice or tortillas to really balance out that spice, the heat, the chocolate bitterness if they are adding chocolate. The mole I want to see tonight has to be really complex and have that depth of flavour that I'm looking for.
Tommy, what's your version here of mole?
So today we're doing poisson, which is a baby chicken, which we're going to serve with mole maximo, which is a mole I learned on my travels in Mexico City.
Wow.
Actually has macadamia nuts in the mole.
You know macadamia nuts are indigenous to Australia.
I do, but they've found their way to Mexico and now they've come back again. So the poisson, I have spatchcocked, removed its backbone, removed all the breastplates, taken out the thigh bone, and seasoned it with the Holy Trinity oil.
What other elements do you have here that you want to make sure you get right?
The beans, they have to be just cooked, not falling apart. We're going to serve them whole. We are going to refry them with some more onions, some more garlic, some more chili, and some more seasoning. So we have to get that part right. The chicken's got to be bang on. It's got to be cooked perfectly, seasoned well. Obviously, the tortillas, to mop it all up, has to be soft and springy and cooked well.
Okay, well, Dan loves big flavour, so I hope you really bring that big flavour to the past tonight.
Thanks, guys.
Wonderful.
Good luck.
Okay, right now I'm doing my Mexican rice. What you need to do is put the rice on the pot, a little bit oil, and start frying the rice. After, you need to add the salsa with tomato, onion, garlic, and one of my secret ingredients, chili. You need to put 1 cup of rice with 2.5 of chicken stock. Fry a little the peas and also the corn. Mexican rice needs to be perfect, not watery. You don't need to put a lot of condiments. The flavor of the tomato, I think, make the balance perfectly.
Everything's great. The beans are cooked. The mole is ticking away. The spices are a minute away to be added to that. So the plan of the chicken tonight was to use a barbecue. Just to build some foundations of flavour, we're going to try and get some smoke and some of the fats drip into the coals and create a bit of fire, which will impart a great flavour and just add a new dimension to the dish. About to ball up my tortillas, pick the coriander, and we're getting close. The perfect tortilla is all about the masa. It's a dough made from corn, and it's a great product to work with. You have to get the right amount of liquid and the right amount of salt into your masa. I believe the masa I made today was perfect.
Tortillas look banging, chef.
They are.
Nice and thin, man. Nice and thin.
I also have my secret weapon. That tortilla press I actually made with my old man, and it was a great project for me and him, and it works perfectly.
Tommy tortilla. Sí, señor. Go, chef.
At the moment, I'm doing my blue corn tortillas. In Mexico, we have a lot of variety of corn. We have yellow, white, purple, blue. The flavor of the blue corn is a little bit more strong. I think the flavor of the blue tortillas is quite well balanced with the mole. The tortilla should be round, like in a small circle. These ones actually are soft, but at the same time, they are not crunchy. In Mexico, you eat the tortilla, the mole, some rice, and yeah.
5 minutes to go before we need your plate on the pass, thanks.
Yeah, once your mole is cooked out, what you really want to do is process it super smooth. Luckily, with today's technology, we've got a Vitamix or a Thermomix, and it really just finishes the product well.
I wanted my mole poblano rich, thick, full of flavor, a little bit spicy, but at the same time sweet.
The plate was pretty much spot on. We got the mole right, we got the beans right,
We got the tortillas right, and the chicken just came through right at the end, and I was really happy with the plate.
I'm very happy when I saw the results and when I run to put up my plate. Yeah, I really enjoyed and I was very happy.
1 minute. You have 1 minute to get your plate on the pass, Tommy.
Great work.
The final showdown for Mexican Week is over. Home Cook Floor has been battling El Publico head chef Tommy Payne in a classic mole challenge.
I think it was very close.
It was close.
But
It was close.
Blind tasting judge Dan has no idea who's prepared which dish.
Dan, the aroma in here.
Yeah, look, it smells great and it looks great. I love how they both have served tortillas on the side, very Mexican, and two very different plates of mole interpreted. It smells great.
This is chicken mole poblano with red rice and blue corn tortillas.
Yum. The hero is the mole, and it looks very dark, very rich. It looks very thick as well, you know? Looks like it's got a lot of flavour.
Dig in, Dan.
Chicken, very nice and tender. I love this. Do-it-yourself taco. Get the mole in there, a little bit of rice.
You can smell that from here.
I love blue corn tortillas.
That mole has a lot of depth, really nutty. I can taste those sesame seeds as well. A little bit bitter, which I expect from a mole. You know, is there chocolate in there?
Yep.
There is.
That chicken, really tender. It is sweeter than other moles that I've tried, but I'm Vietnamese. I like that sweet note to it, you know? And it really counteracts that bitterness of the chocolate. So it's a great mole.
How's the rice, Dan?
Look, the rice is nice, if a little bit under-seasoned. Like just with salt, a little bit.
Surprised, Dan, to see a blue tortilla?
Yeah, it was a surprise, because you don't really see them much in Australia. First time I've eaten one since I've been in Mexico City. This is everything I expected a mole to be. It's rich, it's spiced, it's sweet, it's bitter. It's really good. It's just that rice was a little bit of a letdown.
Well, let's move on to the next one.
Spatchcock with mole maximo, refried beans and tortillas.
It looks great. I can smell that barbecued chicken. Who doesn't love that smell? That's like one of the best smells ever. The mole, not as dark as that one, but, you know, it's not about the colour, it's about the flavour.
Dig in.
Lovely and tender.
This is how you do it.
There's a few faces there.
This mole is very different to that mole. It's a lot lighter. The spice is there, the heat is there, the acidity is there, and has that balance as well. The beans are really nice on this. That mole combined with that caramelization of the spatchcock, pretty damn good.
A lot of love and attention went into the oil mix. Was it worth it?
I think it was worth it because when I ate it, it was probably the combination of the chili oil and that mole that really took it to the next level.
It's called a Holy Trinity chili oil, so was it a religious experience?
It's a pretty damn good chili oil.
And the tortilla, Dan?
The tortilla is great. Pretty much every battle, they had to make tortillas, so I expect the tortillas to be great in the final battle.
Well, does it get your blessing?
They both get my blessing. This one's rich, nutty, chocolatey. This one's acidic, bright, spicy. They're both really, really delicious in different ways.
This is the final of Mexican Week. You have a big decision to make, Dan. Chicken great on both, mole great on both, tortillas fantastic.
It's going to be hard for me to decide.
It's the final competition night of Mexican Week. Home Cook Floor has taken on El Publico's head chef Tommy Payne. Tonight's blind tasting judge Dan is ready to announce which mole dish he thinks is best.
What has been wonderful about this week is the diversity of Mexican cuisine on display.
Flor, how you feeling, doll?
I'm feeling pretty nervous, very emotional right now. Very proud of representing my Mexican community.
Tommy, how do you think you went?
I'm happy with the dish. All the elements were really good. It was a good experience.
Are you impressed with Flor's cooking and what she's done this week?
Flor has made it this far for a reason. Her food has been spot on.
Now for the decider. Dan, please tell us which was your favourite plate on the pass tonight.
Well, mole to me is all about that depth of flavour and also about great balance as well. We had two amazing moles on the pass. One was really rich and bittersweet, and the other one was a little bit lighter and more like sweet and sour. And the best plate on the pass is the spatchcock mole. Well done, Chef Tommy. I love how you barbecued that spatchcock. It really gave that extra depth of flavour, that beautiful charred skin. And the mole really had that balance, and that chili oil really brought it all together, and it was delicious. Well done.
Thanks, Chef. It was a good way to finish. I believe we cooked really well this week, as did the home cooks, and I think it was a great way to finish it off.
Flor, your mole was incredible. It was so rich. It had so much flavour. That chicken was perfectly cooked. And those tortillas, I haven't had a blue corn tortilla since the last time I was in Mexico City. So I was so happy to see them. You have really cooked all this week with all your heart and your soul. And it's really shown on every single plate that you've put up on the pass. So you should be so proud of yourself that you've come this far.
I'm very proud, very happy. Yeah. I love the time here, the chefs, the judges, the competitors, the nice people.
Well done.
Congratulations. Well done.